Okay, now we can do some interior. The interior has a lot of rips. You can see the seats ripped. And we come in here. You can see the ceiling has some rips. Back seat, there's no rust back here at the floorboards. When I bought the car, there was a hole over here about 4 inches diameter. I rust ate this about 2 years ago, and then fiberglass netted over it and painted again. It is pretty stable, but it does need to be done again. Over here, this one was about 6-inch diameter. Same thing, rust eater, and sanded it out, and then laid out fiberglass and painted it. It's been good for 2 years. The undercarriage under there too, I've kept coated and scraped every year. So this one, it'll pass. The car is inspected in Pennsylvania. We have until January. So I was able to get it past. The horn, when I put the engine on, we'll test the horn out. And somebody had a wiper timer here, and it does work when it's plugged in to the box. I just kept it undone. The ignition sometimes it does not work, so I had to put in a push button. It's right here, but it does start. The belt is loose. You can hear the belt. That goes away when you start driving. I just did not take the time yet to replace the belt. What else? The radio was here. The main issue that I've had, when we get into the engine, I'll talk about that more, was issues with the electricity. I have I think it might be a grounding issue. Interior lights, sometimes they don't work. The blinkers. Okay, so now it's working, but it's not infrequent for them to, you have to manually blink them. But now they're both working. When we get to the trunk, I'll show you some of the issues back there. I did change all the sockets, but hazard lights are working. Why don't we go out and look at the blinkers? Right now they are working. Side is working there. Front. Go around to the rear. You can hardly see it, but you can see it there. They're very dim. I've been hand singling sometimes during the day. I'm not sure why. We got that one working. Okay. I'm not sure why they're dim. The electrical issues I had since I had it. I went through and cleaned and went through all the connections. When we get to the engine bay, I'll show you more about that. Why don't we cover the trunk now? But let's first go through here, all these doors. Yeah, there's no issues under here. There was never any moisture under here. These back, both floor pans on the back are intact, no rust. Again, some ripping and tearing in here. The bottoms, these doors. I'm trying to see if this one is one. This door is pretty good. On the other side, here you have, this one's not too bad either. No. On the other side, on the bottom of the doors, we'll see a little bit of rust. Let's go around this way. And look in this bay. There's a little bit of rust in there. I did not tear in here very much because it hasn't really been much of an issue. And here you see this paneling here. Some rust. Seat dogs are back here. They work. Sometimes they stick. You have to pull them to get them apart. And over here, this mirror is missing, but I did pass inspection without the mirror. And this side, not tremendous problems here. Here's some rust in this door, but I've really tried to fill that with rust eater and spray in there. Okay, we'll go to the trunk. Gas tank's back here. If you notice at the front, this car was in Philadelphia when I got it. This is a lock. I don't have the full mechanism, but that's common in Philadelphia, people stealing batteries. So there was a lock on that. In the rear, comes with an extra tire. And it comes with mats. I took the mats out to show the floorboards. This is my favorite part of the car, was this jack. It goes off the bumper. And I haven't had no issues with doing that off the bumper. You can see back here, my issues have been with this. I've replaced all the sockets, but sometimes I still get a short. It still signals manually. But this has been an issue back here. I should redo all the wiring, I suppose. And it does have this, I don't know what you call it, subwoofer, but it doesn't have the speaker. I also come with extra rear shoes. I was just looking at them and they don't need replaced yet. I was going to do that the other day, but when I got it, there was water back here. So I went through, and so this spot right here is fiberglass, but I put rust eater, sanded it top and bottom, and it's intact enough to pass. And I rust eater down there and drop paint down here. This is if you wanted to do a transmission, you wanted to change that. That's just the seal. This was the distributor cap. I got a new one. I'll throw these in too. I didn't ever hook them up. They're just gauges. Also, this was the top, the distributor cap. That I'll send along as well. I lost a hubcap in the forest, but I do have 3. And over here, this is pretty well intact. I thought right here I had an area where there was rust through. It's the time of the year that I usually go through and scrub and do the rust eater. I haven't done it this year though. Over there I had plugged with fiberglass, a hole I had. And so I have the emergency brake line snapped, but I do have the other cord. I just haven't gone through and done that. Then I have 2 brand new belts that are going to come along with this, with the car. Now, I'm going to go ahead and maybe we can get a little more of the undercarriage. The undercarriage is in good shape. When I got it in Philly, he had a leak coming from the oil pressure sensor, and I was unclear if it was a serious leak or not, so he dropped it down to 650. But when I got it, he had oil all over the engine, which happened to protect the undercarriage fairly well. I don't really have a lot of rust down here, and I just replaced these tie rod ends on the end, on both ends. I don't really have too many suspension problems. I can't remember. I have it written down at home when I did the shocks and if I did both shocks on the front and the rear. Okay, we can go to the engine next.